Hi, hope you all having a good day. So I've been exploring Django for past couple of weeks. In fact, I'm building my personal website with Django and HTMX. There are some things that I'm really enjoying about this framework and I wish we had this in JavaScript world. So in this video, I'll be sharing my first impressions of Django from a point of view of a JavaScript dev. All right, let's go. I should really have a better intro, right? Well, anyways, for those of you who don't know, Django is a Python-based web framework. It's kind of like Express.js, but Django seems to be a lot more opinionated. Opinionated? Like, that's a mouthful word, right? Anyways, and comes with a lot more features. Let's try to understand what that means. Imagine you want to build an e-commerce website and you decide to build with Node or Express. First, you will need an ORM like Prisma or Drizzle to talk to your database and build your database models. Now, it's not a must. You can use raw queries, but having an ORM makes your life a lot more easier. Next, you will probably need authentication for your admins or users to place orders. For that, you will probably use Passport.js, NextAuth, or using a third-party SaaS platforms like Clerk. Now, to manage your e-commerce, like adding products, tracking orders, or fulfillment stuff, you'll probably need an admin panel. For that, you can use something like admin.js. Now, to notify your users through email, you'll probably use something like NodeMailer. You can guess where I'm going with this, right? Basically, to handle different tasks, you need to bring in different third-party libraries or frameworks to get the job done. Now, the great thing about Django is it comes in with a lot of features and has first-hand support of everything that I mentioned so far. Now, the examples I gave are just some of the major features I noticed so far, but there are some other examples. Like, for example, when you build APIs, it auto-generates open API docs for you. Now, if all of this is sounding too good to be true and you are wondering, why are we using Node? Why not everyone just shift to Django? Well, there is one catch with having an opinionated framework. And that brings me to my first con that I noticed while working with Django, which is it's not just Django. Whenever you are using a very opinionated framework, the problem is you have to stuck to that opinion, right? So, for example, if in Node.js or Express world, if I don't like Prisma, I can just replace this with Drizzle or some other ORMs, right? If I don't like how Passport.js handles authentication, I can just use some other platforms. But when you are using Django, you have to do stuff in the Django way, right? Which necessarily isn't the bad thing, but something to be mindful about. So if you are looking for a full featured framework to ship products first, then Django seems to be a really good solution. But if you want like full control over your code base and want things to be done specific ways, like your own way, then you probably will not like Django as much. Also, not gonna lie, I really miss the absence of TypeScript. Someone should really build something like Python, which will let you use type safety in Python. So anyone who's watching, here's a $1 million idea for you. All right, so next I'll give you an overview on the project that I'm working on, so you have an idea what's it like working with Django. All right, so this is the project I've been working on, where basically I will have all my stuff. It's still in a very early stage, but I think a perfect example to show you how Django works. So this is the home page. You have a button here for me to get in touch. This whole part is static, but if you go to blogs, this is the dynamic. This part is coming from the database. And of course, if you click on it, it will take you to the blog details page where you will see the blog details. And I can manage all this from my admin panel. So if I go to localhost 8000/admin, I can log in with my username and password. Here you can see my dashboard. So I can go to my blog articles. I have one here. I can create a new one. You can give your title, description, your content, and all those stuff. And I can also update my existing ones. So let's give this a proper Slack. Next.js routing. Save. So now if I click on the details again, you can see the routing is changed. So let me show you how the code works. So this is my project file. Here you have a main.py, which is like your root file. and I've been saving all my data into this SQLite database. And for all the major features, you have different folders. So I have one for blogs, one for projects. So let's click on the blogs. So the structure of files here can remind you of the MVC pattern, which I believe it is. So we have our models related to blogs. So I have one for tag and one for blog article. And then on the URLs, you can define your paths. So I have one for slash that will render all the blogs, and for slash slag, it will render the detail. And on the views, you can render your views basically. So I have two functions here. One, the index for rendering all the blog list, basically what you see here. And all it's doing is like fetching all the blogs from our model ordered by publication date and sending it to our template. I am using HTML for now, but I will be replacing them with HTMX pretty soon. So then our HTML is getting all the data. So let's open that file in the templates, blogs, HTML. And you can see first I have a title and the description here, which is basically this. And then here I'm just looping through that latest blog data and rendering on the UI with nice styles and stuff. And it's a link, so when someone clicks on it, it takes them to the /blogs/slag, which then fires up this function where I'm getting the slag and using that slag to fetch the blog detail. And this is a built-in function by Django where if it doesn't find the object, it will just return a 404, and then we just rendering the detail HTML file. So if I open that, it's just rendering the title and content. And next, for the admin panel, this is generated by Django, so I didn't have to spend time making this admin panel. If you look at the code, in all of our project, there is a admin.py file where basically you just have to register your models and it will handle all the rest. So it's super cool. I love this feature so much. Building admin panels and these CRUD features are one of the worst, and I love how Django just automatically handle this. Alright, so that was my first impression of Django. I'm pretty sure as I keep working on with the framework, there will be a lot more stuff that comes up. But so far, I'm really impressed with the framework. Apart from the absence of type safety, there isn't anything to complain about. So yeah, that's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.